While Tesla, SpaceX, and the website formerly known as Twitter continue to receive the majority of attention in the Elon Musk universe, the Boring Company has been soldiering on, forgive the pun, underground. We now have evidence to suggest that the Boring Company has made new technological updates in tunneling that could change their fortunes, have updated plans of what they want to achieve, and are still plagued by bureaucracy. So, what has the Boring Company been up to these past few months? Let's get into it. In some good news for the Boring Company, its application for an expansion to the Las Vegas tunnel network received unanimous approval from the local city council. This gives the company the green light to go ahead with its plan to build an underground network totaling 68 miles of tunnels and 81 stations. While the initial phase centers around the downtown core of Las Vegas, a vast majority of the extension will also connect areas further out, potentially making it a true transit system for the citizens of Las Vegas and not just a tourist attraction. The only portion of the Vegas Loop currently in operation are 3 stations around the Las Vegas Convention Center connecting 3 exhibition halls, plus 1 connector tunnel out to the nearby Resorts World Hotel. The Convention Center Loop seems to be where the Boring Company is ironing out all the nitty-gritty details to make the system work as smoothly as possible. It has been operational for over 2 years now and has transported over 1.2 million passengers during that time, hitting a peak daily capacity of 32,000 riders, which is quite impressive. An offshoot from the Convention Center Loop to Resorts World opened in the summer of 2022, with 2 further connections to the Encore Luxury Resort and Westgate Hotel currently under construction. The Encore Tunnel is scheduled to open in early 2024, with a trip in the 2,325-foot tunnel from the resort to the Central Hall of the Convention Center expected to take just 1 minute. Once all 3 offshoots are operational, the Boring Company plans to add 1 more return tunnel for each of the new stations to allow for simultaneous trips between the convention center and the resorts. With the 2 machines in the ground for the last few months, the work is well on its way. The current plan is for the entire Las Vegas system to be built out in phases and then connected to create a seamless transit loop from the South Strip to the downtown core. While individual properties will pay for their stations, the Boring Company will build out the tunnel system at its own expense. The first section likely to be constructed under the Strip will be the Tropicana section, which will include Allegiant Stadium, resorts around Las Vegas Boulevard and Tropicana Avenue, and the University of Nevada. If the Las Vegas project proves successful, the Boring Company could potentially revolutionize urban transit as we know it and make Elon Musk even more obscenely wealthy than he already is. One individual who believes strongly in the company's success is investor Warren Redlich. He says that the Boring Company could reach a valuation of $1 trillion as soon as 2030 and go public by 2028. He projects the company will have over 10,000 miles of tunnels by that time and then jump to over 100,000 miles in another 5 years. His belief stems from the advancements made in the Prufrock tunnel boring machine that's capable of digging a 1-mile tunnel in a week, with a 3rd-generation machine in prototype stage that aims to dig 7 miles a day. And if that wasn't enough, Redlich also went on to predict the Boring Company tunnels would connect North America to Asia via the Bering Strait by 2040, replacing cargo shipping in the process. So, why are we paying attention to an investor's posts on X? Well, it turns out Elon Musk agrees with Redlich, responding directly to the post, stating it is actually possible from a technology perspective. Elon followed that up by saying the biggest hindrance is getting permits for all the work the company needs to do, and that construction is becoming practically illegal in North America or Europe. So does this mean we will be taking tunnels to Asia in another 2 decades? I mean, it's possible, but perhaps not so soon. We know Elon is capable of delivering on his technological promises. It's usually the timeline that ends up being way too optimistic. But hey, we're here for it. Imagine if they somehow made those tunnels transparent. If anything that we just mentioned is actually going to become reality, then the Boring Company needs a much quicker and more effective tunneling machine. And on August 18th, 2023, the company posted that their latest generation tunneling machine, the Prufrock 3, has begun testing. Its aim for now is to target full continuous mining, where the machine never stops, and a sub-24-hour launch time, which is half of the Prufrock 2. This will lead to a massive reduction in downtime by running the machine 24/7 and push it closer to the bigger goal of hitting that 7 miles a day. As if on cue, recent footage from the Texas facility has revealed a new design for tunnel linings. Up until this point, the boring company has used trapezoidal segments to build the tunnel lining, but it appears with the move to the Prufrock 3, they will now be using hexagonal segments instead, and this is a very significant change. Hexagonal segments are at the heart of enabling continuous mining, as they can be assembled piece by piece instead of ring by ring. In addition to that, every concrete segment is the same dimension, drastically reducing cost and complexity. Thus, while the main machine continues drilling, the lining is assembled piece by piece simultaneously, and all of this is great news if the boring company intends to build lots and lots of tunnels at a very quick pace. The downside, well, hexagonal segments need to be thicker and stronger, as they tend to bear more load than individual trapezoidal segments, and slippage at the joints can sometimes cause water ingress, which is costly to remedy. But with the advantages far outweighing the disadvantages, this is the clear future for tunneling. Over in Bastrop, Texas, things are moving at a rapid pace for the boring company. Construction on the SpaceX and adjacent boring company properties are constant, and the next generation of the tunnel boring machine, the Prufrock 3, is undergoing testing. In addition to this, a housing complex for the employees is also in the works. Unfortunately, this speed is coming at an environmental cost, making local residents and regulators concerned. The Texas Commission on Environment Quality has already hit the property with several violations over poor erosion control. Bastrop County issued another violation over unauthorized wastewater holding tanks, and regulators say they are constantly hounded by staff and consultants to expedite and approve permit applications that are incomplete or not in compliance. The boring company's favorite neighbor, Chap Ambrose, continues to hold them to account, regularly posting updates on X and his website keepbastropboring.com. To be clear, he isn't a hater. As a computer programmer, he loves the technology Elon has brought to the world. Ambrose is on the waitlist for the Tesla Cybertruck and a current Starlink internet customer, but 2 years after the boring company moved in, he still thinks they are ignoring safety and environmental regulations and trying to get away with it. He recently posted a video of how daily deliveries still block private homes and cause traffic hazards, and he's also reported that the company has received 4 more environmental violations, taking the total to 14. The boring company's current application to build their own wastewater plant to discharge 143,000 gallons of treated water into the Colorado River is still pending approval, with delays likely caused due to their repeated violations of the Clean Water Act. So, will the boring company clean up its act in Bastrop, or will it turn into its Achilles heel? Only time will tell, but with Texas shaping up to be a big hub for all of Elon's companies, we hope things work out for the better, for the environment, and for technology. Now, before we sign off, we learned something recently thanks to a Freedom of Information request in Texas that could provide an insight into things to come. Way back in September 2021, venture capitalist Joe Lonsdale got on the phone with Austin's then mayor Steve Adler to pitch a project to build an underground transit system very similar to the one we now see in Las Vegas. An investor in the boring company himself, Lonsdale exchanged emails with the mayor with a detailed pitch deck. He proposed 2 phases for the project. The first would be a 34-mile tunnel with 8 stations connecting Austin's International Airport and Q2 Stadium to the downtown core. Phase 2 would add another 278 miles into the surrounding suburbs with 37 additional stations. Phase 1 would cost $304 million, while Phase 2 would come in at $2.3 billion. In order to sweeten the pot and just to demonstrate proof of concept, Lonsdale suggested starting really small. He and some of his friends would pay for a 1-mile tunnel that would connect their lands and properties around town. It would cost $6 to $7 million, but it could spark interest from city leadership to go ahead with a citywide tunnel system built by the boring company in partnership with the city. Mayor Adler dutifully passed the proposal on to city staff, but they ultimately did not pursue it. While this happened a few years back, we think it is indicative of the path we might see going forward with the adoption of the boring company's solution to transit and traffic. While government and city officials tend to exercise caution and are usually restricted by regulations, wealthy venture capitalists and investment firms might see this as the next big business opportunity. They can push for initially expensive projects and provide proof of concept before officials deem it worthy of investing for an entire city. With regards to this, the boring company's project in Las Vegas seems even more important. If it proves to be a resounding success, it might just create a domino effect, with everyone racing to get their own transit system. At that point, the only hindrance will be whether the boring company can bore fast enough. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up today if you liked it. That is so important for getting our content out to more people. If you enjoy the content, then you'd probably also enjoy our weekly newsletter, so sign up with the link down below at theteslaspace.com. A huge thank you to all of our Patreon supporters who are listed on the screen now. You help us make the best content we can, and we really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.